Morning and Merry Christmas to everyone. 6 days before Christmas, so kahit na Christmas break na, pero let's have Kapihan. And our Kapihan today is brought to you, of course, by PROS, headed by Lenda Olid. And our guest for today is the Chairman of Committee on Local Government and Committee on Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement. Let us all welcome Senator J.V. Ejercito. Hi, sir. Magandang umaga.
Yes, good morning everybody. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Advance Merry Christmas sa lahat.
Sir, tomorrow is the signing ceremony for the 2024 national budget. As one of the Vice Chairman of Committee on Finance, will you attend the signing ceremony? And confident po ba kayo na walang anumang item ang mabibito ni Pangulong Marcos?
Yes, of course, I have to attend, being one of the vice chairs of the Committee on Finance and also Deputy Majority Leader. So I have to, I will attend, no? And confident naman kami na wala na siguro mabivito. And yung mga the controversial funds like the CIF, no? Yung Confidential Intelligence Funds, were now solely allotted to national security agencies, no? DND, AFP, of course yung mga sa peace and order, PNP, and DOJ. So all the civilian agencies that were asking, nilagay na lang sa line item. Hindi naman binawas sa department, but it was now instead allotted to line item budget items. So at least medyo nawala na yung controversial CIF funds that the civilian agencies were asking for. Instead, it was realigned to line items in their budgets.
But Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel is saying na unconstitutional daw po yung 450 billion pesos na idinagdag sa unprogram appropriations kasi magiging about 6.1 trillion na ho daw yung total ng 2024 budget.
Well, yan po siguro the chair of the Committee of Finance will be the one in a better position to answer that kasi po sila po yung nag-finalize yan, no, together with their counterparts. But as I can only speak for the Senate portion that we really did our best, no, to stick to the usual, no. Kaya nga wala tayong mga inalis natin yung mga controversial items, but on the part of the Senate, I would say that walang controversy, no? Wala tayong mga controversial issues, no, regarding the budget.
Pero sir, as member ng BICAM panel, ano ho yung information ninyo? Nagkaroon ba ng consultation yung BICAM panel sa executive bago nila itinaas yung dinagdagan ng 450 billion yung unprogrammed appropriations?
Well, there'll always be a program funds, no? Meron naman talaga yan. As long as funds are available, it will be used for projects, no, na kumbaga wala doon sa appropriations, but siguro usapan nila, hindi ko lang alam kung saan ialat, but for us, ako po kasi may mga some items that I really wanted to be funded na hindi na nakasama, but I'm hoping, no, that as long as funds are available, anbawa unprogrammed funds, especially for UHC, for housing, and the like, mabigyan pa rin, no? I'm hope yun yung kumbaga parang dependent talaga as long as funding is available. But we do understand also that upon the instruction of our Senate President, Mig Subiri, in the Senate portion, we really added a big portion of the budget for the armed forces, especially for the modernization fund, specifically for the acquisition of naval vessels and for the Coast Guard as well. Because of the situation, yun medyo malaki ang nilagay ng Senado po ron, no? On the part of the Senate, we allotted a lot because of the current situation and circumstances in the West Philippine Sea. So yun yung talagang prioritize po ng Senate leadership.
Pero sir, di ba under the Constitution, kung ano yung sinubmit na proposed budget ng executive, pwede mo yung bawasan, pero hindi mo pwedeng dagdagan, pwedeng i-retain mo lang yung, let's say yung 2024 is 5.7 trillion. Pero dun sa nangyari nga, allowed ba yun? Sa mga previous budget ba, Pwede yon, nataasan mo yung unprogrammed appropriations, kaya't ang magiging total na ng budget, higit dun sa isinubmit ng executive.
Well, usually unprogrammed, ano yan we will only be able to use it or utilize it once it is available. Kumbaga, ano yan hit and miss. Kumbaga, nagdadasal ka na if you have an advocacy o meron kayong, halimbawa, yung legislator has a program or a project that he would like to be funded, kaya lang kung talagang it's not part of the original GAA or NEP, then you are hoping, kumbaga, ano yan, fingers crossed na talagang magkaroon ng excess funds or for the unprogrammed fund for it to be funded, no? So, may mga, may mga tinulungan ako, kaya lang hindi na umabot. For example, PUP, meron silang nire-request ng in other state universities, pero wala po sa NEP. We're hoping that pag merong extra funds ang program, mabigyan din ng funding. Likewise sa housing and other programs that other legislators would want to be funded but are not part of anymore. So, traditionally, kumbaga, fingers crossed na magkaroon ng extra funds, no? That's why there's an unprogrammed funds. So, yun ang that's on our part in the Senate.
So you're confident na hindi po ma-vivito ng Pangulo yung item na yun, yung unprogrammed appropriations?
Well, it depends. We trust the executive, we trust the president and his discretion, and that's his authority. So, we'll see tomorrow kung ano po ang final, no? Kung may mabibito or about the national budget.
So ilang mga senador, sir, mag-attend tomorrow ng
Most likely, the leadership will be there for sure. Senate President Big Zubiri, Majority Leader Sen. Joel, and probably Senate President Pro Tempore Lauren will be there.
And Senator
I
Sani
might as well. And Senator Sani, being the chair of the Committee on Finance.
Any related question about the budget? No more. Okay, Mav. And then, Marlon. And then, okay, sige.
Hi sir, good morning po.
Morning.
Sir, yung unprogrammed funds, itemized po ito, and if itemized, sino po nagde-decide what goes in there?
Well, it now parang nangyayari diyan yung executive na yung department na would now prioritize kung ano yung unahin. Like me, for example, ito lang ay based on our experience, meron akong request doon that it be funded yung pumping station, yung anti-flooding in sa San Juan yan na rin na kulang, no? But it has been nairata yan last time ng Congress, but I'm hoping kasi ito na lang talagang kailangan, but it's not part of the NEP again, but I'm hoping that it will help alleviate the sufferings of our constituents San Juan. So nag-ano lang ako, fingers crossed na talaga magkaroon ng sobra na funding doon po sa program fund so that it will be funded. But this will be the call already of the executive, the agencies or departments concerned kung ano yung pa-prioritize. So, talagang hanggang doon na lang ang kaya ng legislator, no, na we're just keeping our fingers crossed that it will be included, no, yung pong na-identify namin. But it will be the call already of the executive.
Sir, sorry, linawin ko lang po. Yung unprogrammed, naka-itemize naman siya. Hindi po siya parang pork barrel na parang, ito 400 billion for anything.
I think from what I know, it's itemized also, no? Meron kayong mga wish list na mga nakita because, for example, mga legislator, nag-iikot din tayo, may mga requests sa ibang provinces, but it's not part of the NEP. We write the Committee on Finance na sana malagyan ng funding, but ano na yun? Hindi naman suntok sa ban, pero we're hoping that there will be excess funds dito sa program fund so that it will be funded. No? So that's how I understand it to be.
Okay, Marlon, and then Raymond. Raymond, may tanong ka rin about the budget? And then, si Hannah Borday pala muna. Okay, Hannah and then Raymond.
Good morning, Sen. Sen, bakit po hindi na ipasok to during the committee hearings as individual or even institutional insertions po ng mga taga-House or taga-Senate?
Well, kasi naman meron tayong mga doon siguro hindi na yun yung mga hindi na kumasya, no, because the House will have their own pie, we will have our Senate's own pie na ilalagay institutional amendments. So siyempre sa dami rin ng hindi naman ma-accommodate lahat, so some will be yun nga may ilalagay sa unprogrammed funds, yung mga that will not be accommodated in the final line item in the budget, no? Line item. So, yun nga lang, ano na yun? Wish list na yun. So, hoping that there will be enough unprogrammed funds by the end of the year to be able to fund these projects that are listed in the unprogrammed funds.
Sir, ano lang, I don't know kung if you're aware, pero doon po sa special purpose fund po, under doon sa final version na ng GAB, ang laki na nabawas sa health sector, mga 40 billion. May get. Nabanggit din to ni Sen Coco during the ratification na yung PhilHealth pa lang, nasa 40 billion yung ibinawas. So, are you aware po yung paglaki nung
Well, that's unfortunate because ako naman siyempre ang isa sa mga pinupush natin is the UAC. One of the reasons I really wanted to be back, and sabi ko nga we can make sacrifices elsewhere except sa mga health services, no? And the PhilHealth will be the prime agency that will be in charge of the universal health care, but I will have to check on that kasi napakarami rin on what's the reason, no? Pero I'm hoping that sa pagkakalam ko kasi una malaki na yung nalagay natin sa yung that was allotted for PhilHealth subsidy, but PhilHealth I would say right now is healthier than it was in the previous years, and we will have to check on that, but I personally would say that ang stand ko rito, we have to prioritize PhilHealth and for the full implementation of UHC because it's a work in progress. Nasa 40 na pa lang tayo implementation, and I think one of the barometers of a successful government is if the services like health services is successful. So marami pang birth pains, marami pang challenges, but we just have to prioritize it. So we'll have to check on that.
Sir, pag may ganong kalaking adjustment sa budget, will it not affect yung operations lalo na ng mga specialty health facilities?
Well, yun nga yung yung question nga dyan, if of course yung mga hospitals that still have pending collectibles, but PhilHealth assured that they will during the budget hearings that before the end of the year, halos lahat maayos nila. And also the Senate, for its part, also added again for the specialty centers, no, which will be under UAC rin, under the Health Facilities Enhancement Program. The specialty centers being one of the priority programs which was mentioned by the President twice in both his zonas. So from 2 billion last year, we added another 2 billion naging 4 na yata last year, and then now 10 billion na po yan. So at the soonest possible time, we can expect that the specialty centers in the strategic areas in the country will be operational, hopefully sooner, no? Marami lang challenges, of course, yung personnel, yung pagkakaroon ng mga specialists in the different areas. Yun po yung mga challenge, no? Acquisition of the new equipment for cancer control, for open heart surgery, kidney, marami-rami, no? But now that it has funding, so it will be the challenge already of DOH to utilize it, no? At least meron na tayong allocation doon. It will be the challenge to come up to be able to utilize it, and yun nga yung pinaka-challenge, I think, yung personnel, no, to make them ready to have operation of the specialty centers. But that's one good news that we really pushed very hard in this budget season is the establishment of the specialty centers.
Sir, last na lang. Sir, would you know po ano yung special purpose funds, and kasama po ba to doon sa pinaka-primary appropriation allotted doon sa mga agencies?
Well, that's part of the budget, but kaya nga ang sa amin nga, we want the budget, most of the especially civilian agencies and departments will be auditable, no? Kaya nga po binawasan na natin yung CIF. It will now be again be allotted to departments or agencies that have something to national security and peace and order. So at least by now we would want the budget na karamihan ng line item will be auditable. Kaya nga yung controversial CIF talagang we limited it already for DOJ, DND and the PNP.
Okay. Okay na sa iyo? Wala ka ng tanong, Hana? Okay, si Raymond.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Yung nabanggit nyo kanina na yung doon sa unprogrammed funds ay wish list ng mga mambabatas. Does it mean na ito ay meron kayo sa Senate, meron din ho sa mga congressmen that are listed under the additional 450 billion unprogrammed funds?
Well, ganun nga, kasi yun yung mga hindi nakasama sa budget, yung mga pahabol. So, there are other requests and for funding for different programs and projects. But ito na nga yung pagdarasal mo na lang na magkaroon ng excess funds so that matuloy po yung fund. Kumbaga, hindi ito sigurado, no? But we're hoping that that the departments and agencies would choose on the important ones, no? Kasi that will be their discretion now kung sino po yung uunahin doon sa unprogrammed funds.
So, related to that, sir, paano yung, dahil lumabas ngayong gano'n na parang naka-standby lang siya, then merong mga accusations na supposedly nawala na yung term na pork barrel funds. Ito na naman bago, na ang tingin ng iba, parang the same as pork barrel during the past, nga binago lang yung term which is unprogrammed funds.
That's why we at least I can only speak on the part of the Senate. We want it all auditable, no? Kaya nga tinanggalan natin yung mga CIF. So hopefully ito ring iba. So at least may kita po natin on the line items which projects or programs will be part of the unprogrammed funds this time, no? But most of the items, again, of the line items, ginawa na natin line items, at least it will be seen, more transparent, and again, ang importante doon, it will be auditable, that people would know where the funding would go. Yun ang importante, mahirap yung hindi natin alam kung saan mapupunta. So we are limiting again, CIF and Special Purpose Fund on certain agencies and departments.
And then She.
Sir, clarification. Yun dun sa program, sabi nyo nga, agencies yung magde-decide. Una, dapat pagdasal kung may excess fund. Tapos, agency yung magde-decide. Sa dami nun, syempre, we all assume na lahat naman yun equally important. Pero paano magde-decide? Parang ano yun? Kung sino yung mas mataas yung posisyon na nag-endorse ng project, yun ang uunahin? Or parang palakasan kasi yun.
No, I'm hoping that, no, I think it will be allotted to projects or programs that will have more impact, no, or which will be classified as really more priority or as a priority, no. Yun nga lang hindi nakasama, but I don't think it has something to do with who is pushing, no, or who sponsored or who allotted the budget. But I would trust the agencies or departments would choose the more important ones, the more, sabi ko kanina, yung mas may impact and what is needed. So yun yung ano natin. Kaya nga yung unprogrammed talagang dapat din bantayan. That's why we made sure that it will be all itemized para hindi para walang duda na doon, just like other special purpose or CIF funds.
Sir, so at the end of the day, parang perceptive kung ano yung nakikita nung implementing agency na most important, yun ang bibigyan ng pondo.
Yes. We are hoping that the agencies or departments would treat it that way, na talagang priority programs and those that are much needed and that will have a huge impact, no, on the overall program of the government next year.
Sir, one last point. Kasi di ba, we've seen a lot of projects na sinasabi equally important, especially sa infra. Pero pagdating sa dulo, mga roads leading to nowhere, mga hindi mabilang na mga covered court and waiting sheds, paano paano i-guard ng Senate or senators, for example, na bago pa mabigyan ng pondo yung anumang project, talagang maa-assure na equally important or as important as possible.
Well, the only way we can do that again is the next budget season to make sure that there's a performance audit or there's an audit of the projects that were funded by the different agencies, and we will be able to grill again the departments or agencies during the next budget season. So they have to make sure that indeed we refrain from going, they refrain from going into projects that have low impact, no? Kaya nga tulad niyan yung roads going to nowhere, tourism area, meron diyan mga tourism projects na hindi naman nasa tourism areas, no? Dapat talaga we would be more prudent in choosing programs or projects that will really have an impact on the different sectors or different areas of concern, no? Yung talaga halimbawa yung tourism, yung mga tourism projects have to have high impact on those areas that have high potential for tourism attraction, no? Hindi yung minsan nasa agricultural area or wala namang ganun sana this time. Same goes with other infrastructure projects, no? Na talagang dapat more prudent. Sabi nga noon nila, other legislators, when we were scrutinizing the budget, bakit nauuna yung mga store protection and other infra in areas that have no community or less, kumbaga hindi pa populated communities. So we're hoping, kaya nga in-scrutinize, especially si Majo Joel, I remember, lalo na po sa flood control, that we are spending about 300 billion a year. No, that's 1 billion, sabi nga niya, 1 billion a day yun, na ilagay doon sa mga high-impact projects that will really be able to mitigate flooding, in areas, flood-prone areas like Central Luzon, Bulacan, Pampanga, na every year na lang naging problema kasi po nahati-hati yung budget, yung programs and projects in smaller low-impact projects. So that's what was emphasized during the budget season, lalo na nagkaroon ng mga matinding flooding in the Central Luzon, Bulacan, and Pampanga this year. So that was what was scrutinized by the Senate, pointed out by Majority Leader Joel Villanueva. Talagang kailangan high impact na talagang floodways na, and then yung pag-restore ng having water retention in specific areas and not anymore low impact projects na marami. Sayang kasi that's 300 billion, for example, and if used that will be used prudently, I think it will be able to solve the flooding in the flood-prone area, especially in Central Luzon, which is a basin.
About budget pa rin, Amor, and then Raymond Tinasa.
Good morning, sir. Sir, sabi po kasi ni Senator Coco, kapag daw po hindi vinito ni President Marcos yung dinagdag na unprogrammed appropriations, pwede daw po yung ma-question sa Supreme Court. Sir, are you confident na kung sakali man na umabot sa Korte Suprema yung case na yan, ay marurule na constitutional yung idinagdag na 450 billion?
Where that will be for the courts already to decide. And also for the executive also, discretion na po ng executive yan. So we'll just have to see, no, kung ano mangyari tomorrow and in the coming days. So at least I think we have done our part on the Senate, no, to make sure that the budget will be less controversial, except for this one that is being questioned by the minority leader.
Okay, Raymond.
Sir, sabi niyo nga, you've done your part sa Senate na less controversial. Pero I understand kasama rin po kayo sa BICAM at advocacy niyo talaga yung health. Nagulat ba kayo and what effort did you do? Did you push na at least yung 40 billion ay hindi matapyas?
Well, ang sabi kasi ng PhilHealth now that they are in a better position now compared to a few years ago, that they will be able to cover most of the needs of claimants and beneficiaries of the universal health care this coming year. But, it's never enough. So we still have to make sure that, again, it's a work in progress that ako personally, it's my advocacy. Hopefully next year, we'll see the effects now of that cut. Kung kaya naman, if not, we will make sure that next year it will not happen again. Again, sabi ko nga, we can make sacrifices elsewhere except wag naman dito sa health services, because I think as I mentioned, this will be one of the barometers of successful administration when basic services like health is truly beneficial, especially to the poor, no? Lalo na yung mga nangangailangan. So,
Yun nga sir, parang sa tingin niyo parang magaan ba sa konsensya ngayon na 400 plus billion yung unprogrammed na dinagdag, tapos 40 billion lang sa health sector sana binawas pa?
well, ako personally, of course, I would rather have it in the PhilHealth subsidy. Siyempre, personal ko yun because I'm siyempre biased because I'm the principal author of UAC and I want it to work. No? So, but again, PhilHealth assured that they can already cover most of the needs because they claim that they're in a better cash position now. But again, there's still a lot of challenges ahead. Marami pang problema, marami pang birth pains that we really have to look into. But we'll see. By next year, kung ano po yung maging impact, then we will make the necessary adjustments.
Okay, other issue na tayo. As Vice Chairman of Committee on Public Services, what do you think should be done by the executive to address itong concern ng transport sector holding transport strike since December 18 to 29? They are demanding na isuspend yung deadline sa phase out ng mga jeepney ba? Dahil sabi nila marami daw humawawala ng trabaho pagdating ng 2020 by next year.
Well, it will be, we just have to trust the executive, no? Sometimes there are decisions that are difficult. Kaya lang you have to weigh things, no? Kasi if probably siguro in the executive's point of view that if we keep on delaying the PUV modernization program, it will never materialize, no? Pero but also we have to weigh things, we have to balance kung tignan natin impact, how many dapat ma-assess ng tama, how many will be affected because of this decision to not anymore extend itong PUV modernization. But sa akin mas importante po 'yon, no? But we have to also push already. We have to fast track yung mga modern yung mass transportation as well. Kasama na rin po 'yun eh. Ang daming there are a lot of problems that need to be looked into, no? Yung PUVs, yung modern jeepneys will serve as feeder na yan, no? Anyway, yung mass transit natin will not be up until to 2027. Yung North-South Commuter Line, hopefully MRT7, earlier yung subway system. So, while we are still on the process of constructing all of these major mass transit, probably itong sa PUV modernization will have to may time pa, probably it can be extended, no, yung pong deadline kasi hangga't hindi pa gumagana lahat, no? MRT7, Metro Manila Subway, North-South Commuter Line, then probably we can it's worth considering to extend. Siguro by now in the next 3 to 5 years, once all of these mass transit are online, siguro yung PUV modernization will have that by that time din ready na rin. So parang lahat yun sanga-sanga, siya yung magiging feeder doon sa mass transit para modernize na po lahat.
Sir, parang hindi sila conforme na parang papasok sila sa kooperatiba. Parang sinasabi ng ilang mga transport operator, wala silang hawak na prangkisa, parang dehado daw sila.
Well, siguro we just have to understand that we need to correct a lot of wrongs that has been done in the past. Marami talaga tayong, admittedly, there are a lot of self-inflicted wounds, ng mga problema ngayon na lumalabas na kagagawan din dati, no, well, both operators, government. We have to just correct everything. Kailangan ayusin po natin lahat, especially now that again we are pushing for mass transit. Tapos itong mga feeder lines, about time also that we have to fix everything para naman by that time, pag naging online na po sila, pati po itong mga other lines that will be used by yung mga existing jeepney lines, maging modernized na rin by that time. So kailangan, kung kinakailangan maging co-op, magmasok sa co-op para so that they will be organized, no? For example lang po yung EDSA, one big mistake. We have more than 3,000 buses there at a time, that at one time yung capacity po ng EDSA was 1,800 lang kung hindi ako nagkakamali. Tapos we have more than 100 operators. So napakagulo. So kung may aayos po natin lahat, I know it's a difficult thing, but it's a big challenge for us to be able to reorganize and to rationalize everything, no? I-organize yung buses, jeepneys into co-ops. We're hoping by the next 3 to 4 years, pag nag-online na lahat, magsabay-sabay na. Maraming there are a lot of challenges, maraming mistakes in the past that have to be corrected. So we just have to trust the leadership kung ano po yung kanilang magiging direction.
Other issues. Isa ka sa mga nanawagan, sir, na ipa-recall yung Chinese ambassador dito sa ating bansa. Tama ba, sir?
Yes, actually, I just want to make it clear, no. Hindi namin siya, together with Senate President Mig Zubiri, we are not asking that the Chinese ambassador be sent home and cut our ties, no. We just want him to be replaced kasi nga medyo yung personality niya and character is not helping the situation, no? Mainit na nga yung it's yung tension because of the West Philippine Sea issue, the circumstances, yung kanyang personality, yung character niya mukhang hindi nakakatulong sa halip na mag-pacify being a diplomat. Kaya nga diplomat sila, he should be the line, no, between the two countries, no, yung China, his country, and host country, which is the Philippines. Instead of pacifying, he's adding fuel to the fire, no, na as I mentioned, ako nga po nag-expose nung pag-confront niya kay Chief of Staff dati na Gerald Bronner, and may parang duro pa na stop provoking us. So this will not help ease the tension. We're hoping that he could be replaced with a more amiable character na para naman medyo lumamig yung sitwasyon na hindi yung binubuhusan pa ng gasolina ay apoy na. Mainit na yung sitwasyon natin but it's not helping. Medyo abrasive yung personality kasi ni Ambassador
Wang Silian. But the President said he won't seek the recall of Ambassador Wang Silian because the Philippines cannot afford to commit mistakes that may cause huge trouble.
Well, I understand the position of the President. Tama naman po siya kasi yung ambassador will only say or carry what the his country's position is. Talagang yun ang kanilang ipupush, no? Or that will be what we will be trying to carry. Kaya lang ang problema, yun nga yung personality na yun, sometimes it adds up kung medyo abrasive. No? You can put it in a better way na ganito yung position namin, no? Of course, for example, in West Philippine Sea issue that China maintains that it's their territory, but he can deliver it in a better way. Na ito yung position namin na hindi maging abrasive. But as far as we're concerned, sabihin naman natin, we also claim that it's our territory. So, but again, if you will recall, the Senate passed a resolution, the sense of the Senate, which was passed by the majority, no? Minority, kumbaga unanimous to. Parang, if I can recall, 24-0 yan. Crossing party lines on how to deal with the recent hostilities and being displayed by China, no? China's Coast Guard. No? Ito yung months back before this latest things happen. Kumbaga, we are united in this. But again, number one in that resolution is we still have to keep lines open and exhaust all diplomatic means. Hindi naman tayo nakikipaggera eh. No? We just want to be clear about it. We do not want war. But aside from keeping diplomatic lines open, we have to, on our part sa Senate, kaya nga namin dinagdagan yung ating budget for Coast Guard and Naval, for Navy and AFP modernization, we have to put up still that minimum credible defense posture na hindi naman tayo binubuli. We have to have respect also on that part. And also third is yung we have to keep the alliance with our traditional allies, right-thinking nations, Japan, Korea, United States, and Australia. Because we cannot fight China. China is a superpower. We're only a third world nation. But hoping with the support of of our traditional allies, including EU, at least there's strength in numbers. And hopefully, ito namang ASEAN countries as well, na meron silang dispute also with China, we have to band together. So there will be strength in numbers. Sana magtulong-tulong tayo. Kasi Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, now India, and Brunei, Vietnam, we have to band together and at least and tackle this South China Sea, West Philippine Sea problem together.
Before Marlon and Amor, so sir, yun na ba yung mga bagong strategy na dapat gawin ng gobyerno to counter itong Chinese aggression? Kasi sinabi din ni Presidente dun sa Japan na the Philippines needs to change its strategy in countering Chinese aggression sa West Philippine Sea because diplomatic efforts are not making enough progress. Dapat daw, we have to do something that we have not done before. So yung mga mention nyo, yun ang sa tingin nyo, mga bagong strategy na dapat i-implement ng government?
Yes, on our part, again, at least we are prepared, no? On the Senate's part, or at least we have done our we are trying to strengthen our AFP and the Coast Guard kasi yun yung pangatlo sa natin in the things that we have to do. Last na po yung bring it to UN General Assembly because as of the moment we are kumbaga victory pa rin tayo because we are holding onto the Hague ruling on clause. Kasi pag nilagay po natin sa UN, it will be a risk, no? Kasi may marami rin kakampi ang China doon. We just have to make sure that kung idadali sa UN to, sure na mananalo tayo. Because right now, kaya nga fourth option na po yun, we are in the belief that we have the upper hand or the victory because of the Hague ruling. We are strengthening, we are close to signing, nabanggit din po ni Presidente and Prime Minister Kushida, yung pong yung reciprocal access agreement which will allow Japanese forces to be able to visit the Philippines and vice versa yung sa ating forces din doon. So that will pave the way to strengthen the relationship between the Japanese defense forces and the Philippine armed forces, our own armed forces. So nagkaroon na rin tayo joint patrols with Australia, hopefully soon with Korea and the United States. So ang target lang naman natin is to ensure the freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea area. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1/3 or 30% of the world's economic activity, lalo sa shipping lines, passes through this area kasi nga Southeast Asia is now one of the growth areas in the world. So ang naman natin is really to maintain the freedom of navigation in the West Philippine Sea and South China Sea area.
Okay, Marlon, and then Amor.
Sir, recently sir may mga magaganda kayo engagement sa social media. You and several other senators have been targets of these kinds of attacks sa social media. Do you think, sir, this is funded by China? Kasi binanggit previously din ni Commodore J. Tariela ng Coast Guard na meron ng ganitong tactics na ginagawa in China.
Well, the sad thing about it, no, we're on the administration of President Bongbong Marcos is only 1.5 years old, no? 6 years po yan. We still have a lot of things to do. Marapakarami pa natin problema kailangan ayusin, a lot of challenges that need to be surmounted. Ang dami, no? Infrastructure, transportation. We are about 30 years behind sa ating ASEAN neighbors. Kailangan natin maghabol. Ang dami natin kailangan gawin. Agriculture, sa food security, we have to, ito'y priority ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos so that we can lower the cost of food in the country and strengthen the local production. Third, energy. We have to lower the cost of energy as well, together with infrastructure. These are two things that we need to focus on so that foreign direct investments would look at Philippines again. No? Kahit anong gawin nating benta sa Pilipinas, not unless we fix all of these things, they are looking at the other way. Saan sila pupunta? Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. Nagiging dati top 3, naging top 5, ngayon pang-6 na ang Pilipinas. So what I am saying is that there are still a lot of problems that need to be fixed. Healthcare for another, idagdag na natin. In the next 6 years, President Bongbong Marcos was given the contract and the mandate by the Filipino people. Hindi po ako parte ng unit team, but he was the one elected. We were all elected. So he was elected by the people to lead this country. Ang nalulungkot po ako, napakaaga ng bangayan. 1 year pa lang, nagsimula na. And how can we work? How can we fix all of these problems that I mentioned? Energy, infrastructure, agri, and others. Kung ngayon pa lang, nagsisimula na ang political bickerings. It's difficult to work. It's difficult to entice investors as well kung meron political instability and political bickerings. So I'm calling for a ceasefire. Ako'y nakikiusap, ang tagal pa. Siguro yung last year, doon na tayo magbakbakan. Pero ang haba pa 6 years yan. And it will be difficult for us to be able to fix all of these challenges or have these programs or projects to be in place if there are, kung malakas po yung political mudslinging and bickerings. Nakakalungkot po, I was a victim also just because I am vocally against the Chinese aggression, hindi ko talaga, I have to be true, hindi ko rin akalain, hindi ko rin natansya na mayroon pong mga Pilipino na magiging pro-China. That I did not anticipate. Because during these times that there's an aggressor or a bully, in this case, China is bullying our country, I was expecting all Filipinos to be together and united. In the same way that the Senate was united in passing that resolution regarding China's very hostile treatment on our Coast Guard and the country itself. So, yun ko, nag-cross kami ng party lines. Minority, independents, majority, nagsama-sama. So, hindi ko talaga, I have to be honest, I did not anticipate that I will be part of the kanila magiging flavor of the month. Mag-iisang buwan na akong flavor of the month. So, sinimulan kay Speaker Romualdez, Speaker Martin, sumunod kay sino ba? Si Commodore John Tariela, Sec Tibo, naging kay Senate President Mig Zubiri. Siguro yun yung kakabalik lang nila sa China trip. Kaya siguro yung mga narrative pareho So, yun nga man yung timing that I was vocally against China. So, but ako, if I am only looking at if I will think of my political side, yung political factor ko, I would choose to be quiet. But again, we were elected by the people to do what is right. And in reality, what is right is not always politically correct. Talaga But ako, I am still confident that majority of Filipino people do not want what China is doing to us. Ako naniniwala pa rin doon. So that's why ako titindigan ko to. Hindi po ako natatakot sa kanila, no, kasi sabi ko nga ang pinakamasakit yung ibenta mo yung kaluluwa mo doon sa kalaban natin sa ibang bansa, di ba? And I will choose to stand by my country kahit na tayo dehado. Paglalaban natin to. This is our sworn duty, not only sa public official, as a citizen, we have to fight for our country, our sovereignty, and protect our territorial integrity at all costs. So, minsan nakikipag-ano na lang ako kasi minsan, naglalaro na lang ako. Hindi man sa naglalaro, pero minsan, is already flimsy, no? Reasoning. Panay cut and paste na nga di ba? Na pinalabas yan ni Commodore J. Tariela. The sad thing about it is that this might be part of a destabilization plan, no? Hindi po malayo because we have that conflict in West Philippine Sea. So para po mawala yung attention doon, guguluhin tayo dito internally, mag-aaway-away tayo. Kaya nga ang appeal ko, even to those people who are pro-China, isipin nyo naman yung bansa natin. Di ba? We will never be able to progress and move forward sa dami ng problema na nabanggit ko kanina that needs our attention. Dapat magkaisa tayo dito muna and be united as a people. So, again, hindi naman tayo I will not be faced, I will not back down because I know what I'm fighting for is what is right. Kasi pinaglalaban po natin, teritoryo natin, pinaglalaban natin, bansa natin. So kung gusto na maging pro-China, bahala sila. No? Ayoko maging traitor sa sariling bayan.
Sir, do you believe itong mga these orchestrated attacks against you and several of your colleagues are funded by China?
Well, hindi malayo. As I mentioned earlier, because of the situation in the West Philippine Sea. So, yung external natin, so that yung magkaroon tayo ng attention dito sa, kumbaga, mapunta yung attention dito sa internal, sa ginagawa nilang distab efforts, it's not far-fetched that they are funded. Kasi bigla na lang pro-China sila, na talagang napakahirap ilaban ng posisyon na yun, pero talagang believe din ako sa kanila, di ba? Di ba? Wala nang mas malala pa. Sabi ko, wala nang mas malala pa. Doon sinabi ko sa mga taong kaya mong pag-ibenta yung bayan mo para sa iba. And again, I was not part of Uniteam. Hindi ako part ng presidential team ni Bong BBM and VP Inday. But I would not support any more adventurism because this will not be good for our country. Again, looking back on the coup d'etats that happened, di ba, may change of leadership, but it would take a long while before the country can regain. No, napakabigat ng magiging problema niyan. No, there will always be legitimacy issue on the new government. Kaya nga ang hirap magkaroon ng political and economic stability. That will not be good for the country. Looking back at history, talagang it took a while for the country to be able to get back its image. No? Mahirapan tayong kumuha ng foreign investors kasi pag nagkaroon ng ganyan adventurism, that's political instability in the next coming years. So paano natin naayusin yung infra natin, transpo, healthcare, agri, food security, energy, if we will have that problem. So yun ang pakiusap ko. I'm calling for a ceasefire muna on hostilities on the different political groups and let us work together. No? Kasi ang dami talagang problema. It will be difficult for us to be able to surpass all of these challenges. Kung ganito kaaga pa lang, nagbabakbaka na tayo.
So sir, specifically, na-address niyo yung panawagan to stop early political bickerings kina Pangulo at Vice President?
Yes, of course, the different followers also, party. Kaya nga sana, yung Uniteam, hindi ako part niyan, pero I'm hoping na i-carry po nila yan because we can only achieve and surmount a lot of problems and challenges pag nagkakaisa tayo. Ako, again, on record, I'm not part of that, but they were elected by the people. The President was given that overwhelming mandate. The Vice President, likewise, was given that overwhelming mandate, and it will be good if the two leaders of the country will be together. That's good for political stability, and we will have a better chance of solving a lot of our problems and challenges kung magkasama po sila. Parang ilang, ilang presidente at vice presidente na ang hindi magkagrupo. Nagsimula pa kay President Erap hanggang ngayon, it was not good di ba? For the political stability and economic stability. So, it will be good to have harmony so that we can fix a lot of problems. Ako nananawagan na talagang sana tigil muna natin politika. Mahirap talagang mag-move forward while we have all of these political bickerings ongoing. Both sides, no? I'm not siding with anyone, but syempre as a citizen, as a public official, sometimes I get frustrated that we are discussing a lot of things, trying to find solutions on different programs, pero kung merong political bickerings ng ganito, it will all go to waste, di ba? Parang ang hirap talaga mag-move forward while there is political instability.
Amor and then Shea.
Sir, balikan ko lang po yung kay Ambassador Wang, yung call po na i-recall siya. Now that President Marcos has spoken and sabi niya nga po hindi kailangang i-recall, will you still push for that? Ipupush niya pa ba yung appeal na yun? Will you be asking, or are you asking President Marcos to reconsider?
Well, we just have to respect the decision of the president. He's our leader, so we have to respect his discretion. No, we just made our sentiments be heard. Senate President Big Subiri, I myself, because of the brash and yung abrasive character of the Chinese ambassador, but sabi ng presidente, trabaho niya yan, then we just have to respect his decision. But I'm hoping that ito si Ambassador Wang would improve and be a more diplomat, no, in dealing with this issue, so as not to add any more fuel to the fire, no, ika nga. Nakakadagdag pa kasi abrasive nga siya, bastos nga siya, nakakadagdag daw sa init nakakainit na ulo din Diba? Kapangala ko pa naman siya, Chinese name ko Wang Pero sana nihaw ha. Wang pa naman siya, Wang Pusi ako. Anyway, I'm hoping that we will respect the president's decision on that part. That's his call.
Sir, translate po yung sinabi ko
ni Wei Chala, Wang, di po yung sinabi ko dati. Sabi ko doon, umuwi ka na kasi di ka nakakabuti rito. So, I'm hoping this time, it will turn around. No?
Na sir, na parang appeal na ngayon kay Ambassador Wang na baguhin niya yung pakikitungo niya sa
Yes, I
officials?
think he's an ambassador. He's considered a diplomat. He should be the one responsible in keeping the lines open between the countries. No matter if the circumstances are quite you would say ngayon, no, medyo the tension is there's tension and it's not really very cordial between the two countries, but he should try to be as diplomatic as possible, so that at least yan ang may priority natin as I mentioned during the earlier yung resolution, to keep the lines open and negotiate and be diplomatic about it. No? I mean, hindi man natin some business leaders are also concerned that this situation will not be good for business. So we're hoping that it can be resolved the soonest possible time, and we just have to trust our leader, our president, no, in making the right decisions, no, because as President of the Republic, he has more information than any one of us. Lahat ng intel nasa kanya, lahat ng information, so he has a better chance of making the right decision. So we just have to trust him on his decision, especially in this issue.
So sir, you believe na the President knows the full extent nun pong mga undiplomatic actions nga po ni Ambassador Wang, because last time nga po nakwento po ninyo na kinonfront niya si General Bronner and medyo mabigat po iyon. So, are you sure na aware po si Pangulo doon, and kahit po aware po siya, okay lang pa rin sa kanya na magstay si Ambassador Wang?
I think he's aware of it. Sabi nga niya, a lot of leaders are calling for the ambassador to be sent home because of his abrasive character and what he did to our own chief of staff, but ang thinking ng Pangulo, kahit na sinong ilagay dyan, will still be the same because they will carry the narrative or the position of China, no? But ang sa akin, I think it can be delivered in a much diplomatic way. Kung ganun talaga sila, amin yung South China Sea, tayo naman amin yung West Philippine Sea, but it can be delivered in a more diplomatic way. Sabi ko nga, it can, if we can try to not add fuel to the fire, then it will help a lot. At least yung negotiation natin, yung lines, will be open. Kaya lang kung ganitong, simula pa lang, ang hirap mag-usap if there's already tension and very, undiplomatic already sa simula pa lang. So yun ang sa amin I'm hoping that he can change, be more diplomatic. I know he has to deliver the message of the Chinese government, but I think he can deliver it in a better way. Hindi naman kinakailangan maging bastos
Sir, last question na po. Sir, paano po ba sana yung magiging proseso pag ganun? President Marcos will write to the Chinese government na i-recall si Ambassador Wang? Paano po sana yung magiging process?
I think it's the DFA who has to write the country of origin. Kung ganun yata. Hindi ako sure, but I think that's the way it is.
DFA, but with the approval of the President, of course.
Of course, the DFA will always be the alter ego of the President when it comes to foreign policy.
Thank you, sir.
And then She.
Sir, balikan ko lang yung kay West Philippine Sea. Sir, sabi nyo nga, merong mga nagtotroll sa inyo. Ano yun? They are trolling you based on your own assessment. They are trolling you because they believe on the narrative of China or more of nakikita nyo, binabayaran lang sila?
Well, yun ang I don't know if they really believe in the narrative of China. Napakahirap ibenta Kung Pilipino ka talaga, kung normal kang Pilipino, hindi ka kakampi sa China dahil binubuli tayo, kinukuha ng teritoryo natin So that's why I suspect, kasi kung babasahin mo yung kanilang narrative, halos pare-pareho. Yun ang pinalabas ni Commodore J. Tariela, cut and paste na mukhang tinamad ng sumulat. Ito yung narrative, talagang kinut and paste na, sunod-sunod. That I cannot, sabi ko nga yung political bickerings, yung atake sa akin politically, that I can take. What I cannot stomach is Filipinos who will side with the bully and an aggressor like China. Yun ang hindi ko talaga masikmura. Kaya, sige na, sabi nila, umanda ka sa susunod na eleksyon, okay lang. Basta alam ko, pinaglalaban ko yung tama And I was elected by the people to do what is right. So, again, I will never back down because I know that we are in the right position in fighting for our sovereignty and our country.
Sir, don't you think na isa sa nakakonvince din sa kanila kung bakit halos isa yung narrative, yung narinig natin the past 6 years coming from our president din, na sinasabi pag lumaban tayo, pag pumalag tayo, gegerahin tayo, mapupulbos tayo?
Well, yan yung kanilang linya na kami raw, pag hindi dahil pro-China, maka-Amerikano raw kami. At gusto raw namin ng gera, sila ayaw nila sa pamilya. Hindi po ganun. We are just standing up for what is right and protecting our territory. Kinukuha na po yung lupa niyo. For example, hahayaan nyo na lang ba? Di ba? Hindi po. And just I want to be clear also that most of these people are influencers, identified with the former administration. But ako po, with President Duterte, I have to be clear, wala ho kaming away. I respect him. I was the one who defended most of the infra and the transport modernization programs during the Build program. Kaya naniniwala po ako doon. And we have been friends ever since I was a mayor. He was a mayor. Medyo matagal na po yun. And in fact, City of San Juan and Davao City became sister cities nung pong kaming dalawa ay mayor. Kaya we go a long way. At tuwing nagkikita ko kami, the last time, sabi niya, bago kami naghiwalay, bumalik pa siya, sabi niya, JB, tandaan mo, magkaibigan tayo, ano man mangyari. So, that is very dear to me. Napakaganda, talagang, I will always remember that. So, wala akong away kay President Duterte. Ito lang pong kanya mga dating supporters. Nagulat ako bakit sobra ho silang naging pro-China. And I suspect that it's I'm hoping that they would realize that they are being used for destabilization efforts. Kaya nga po against dyan, because it's not gonna do our country good. Any destabilization, any adventurism at this point will not be good because it will only cause political instability and economic instability. Hindi na tayo makaka-progress talaga. Based on the experience already, no? Nangyari sa amin yan, but the country also suffered, no? It would take a while before the country would be able to rebound, no? Kaya ako, I don't really I will not really welcome any adventurism at this time. Kailangan magkaisa tayo. That's why I appeal, mag-ceasefire muna ang both all political bickerings be set aside and let us work in fixing all of this and trying to surmount all of these challenges.
Sir, sabi niyo nga, no, tama ba yung take ko? Following the line of former President Duterte, but not necessarily because si President Duterte yung nag-i-instigate yung behind it.
Yes, I think they're just, siguro yung perception nila, pro-China noon si President Duterte. But I don't think it's President Duterte behind it. No? Sa kanila na yan eh. Mukhang, I don't know kung totoong paniniwala nila yan o trabaho lang nila yan. Yun, there are intel reports that they are being tapped by China and funded by China to cause trouble internally. Kaya nga kasi meron tayong external problem with China, so they're causing commotion and trouble internally para mawala siguro yung attention ng gobyerno natin. Doon na yung focus sa West Philippine Sea ay problemahin tong internal problem natin. Again, kasama na rin po dyan yung pag-distab. No? There are certain retired military na kanilang hinihimok. I'm hoping that they would this time realize that any adventurism, destabilization effort, again, I would reiterate, will not be good for the country in the long run.
Sir, so sige. So, following the Duterte line, yun nga po, yung gagarahin tayo, mapupulbos tayo, wala tayong laban. Do you think it helped us as a nation, as a race, for giving us that kind of repeated statements?
Well, ang kanya-kanya naman we just have to trust, we just have to respect the different positions. Kung in the past kasi naging friendly ang administration sa China, siguro yung tingin niya makakatulong. But ako personally, that's why isa sa manang loob ko rito sa China. Alam niyo naman, advocacy ko, one of my advocacies is infrastructure and transport modernization. No? Pinush natin yung North-South Commuter Line, South Long Haul, Subway, Mindanao Railway. Yung pong North-South Commuter Line and the Metro Manila Subway, it's already under construction. No? It's progressing because it's Japan and ADB who committed and financed. Itong South Long Haul, yung going to Bicol, yung Bicol Express noon, and Mindanao Railway System, nakuha na nga ng China, they committed, ngayon po, nakabitin. That would have solved a lot of our problems. That could have given more potential for Mindanao to achieve economic progress and peace, and yung talagang lasting peace. So, kumbaga, how can we trust China as a real ally when the things that they committed to do, like infrastructure projects natin, hindi nga nila ginawa di ba? Kinancel po nila. Or nakabinbin itong South Long Haul, yung Bicol line, and the Mindanao Railway System. So that's one of the things that I really have against China. It's if they are really an ally and a friend, dapat tinuloy pula. Hindi pula tinuloy. Kaya how can we trust them?
Sir, last point na lang bago mag-next topic si Selly. Can you expound some more? What do you have with respect to that destab? Kasi po inuulit-ulit nyo. Meron ba talagang ganun na merong nag-a-attempt na mag-destab against the administration?
Kasi nung una, ang tinitira lang, alam mong politika, Speaker Martin, tapos si Senate President Mig Zubiri, pero nung huli, ako, kasi politiko rin ako, pero nung pumasok na yung kay Commodore J. Tariel ng Coast Guard, Defense Secretary Guibo, that's because he is very firm in position against what China is doing. Ngayon po, if you would notice, it's the President already who's getting the attacks. Sinisiraan na po nila si President Bongbong Marcos. Napakabilis naman ng honeymoon. Di ba? Wala pang 1 year and a half. Ganyan din ginawa kay President Erap, napakabilis yung honeymoon. Or maybe faster lang. But ako, I would na, again, I was not part of the team, but I would side with the President because he was given the mandate, the contract to serve in the next 6 years. In the same way, we were all given the mandates. Kaya nga, respetuhin natin yung will of the people that he was selected to lead this country in the next 6 years. Again, I'll reiterate, any adventurism or destabilization will not be good for the country in the long run. We will suffer. We will suffer political and economic instability. All the more, foreign investments will go to other ASEAN countries. Ngayon nga, natatalo na tayo sa Vietnam, sa Malaysia, sa Indonesia, in terms of foreign investments. All the more, pag magkaroon tayo ng ganitong adventurism and political instability. So, nakakalungkot kasi we are trying to fix a lot of problems, but because of these political bickerings, nauudot lahat.
Okay, may follow-up si Mean.
Sa tingin nyo, sino yung nasa likod ng Duterte?
Well, I think people in the past administration who were tapped to create trouble and havoc. I don't think the president would do that. Naging President Duterte would do that. Kasi pag naging Pangulo ka, alam ko mahal mo yung bansa mo eh. And I still believe that he loves his country and he knows that anything of this nature will not be good for the country. So, naniniwala ko na wala na retired na yan si President Duterte and he has done already his part. No? We may or not agree with him, but at least yung infrastructure projects, the program, yung HC, at least may mga bagay na I really am thankful and grateful for him. One is yung infra push that really happened during his time, yung UHC, which I really advocate also. He was one who also supported and signed it into law. So, I don't think it's him. It's probably people close to him who are now out of government service.
Pero sir, tinanggalan kasi ng House at Senate ng confidential fund yung tanggapan ng anak niya.
Well, I think we have made it clear that we will only give confidential in intelligence fund to the traditional agencies and departments, no, connected with our national security, peace and order, and Department of Justice. So wala naman siguro masama, and we would yung pong budget that was allotted for CIF on DepEd and OBP was restored, was still left in the department. Yun nga lang, line items na siya. So, hindi po tinanggal po yun. Hindi basta-basta tinanggal. It was left there, at least line items. So, it will be auditable and less controversial.
So sir, yung distab, political bickerings, lahat yan connected na sa 2028 presidential elections?
I think so. Medyo malayo pa nga eh. Di ba? 4.5 years, 5 years, 4.5 years, we still have a lot of things to do. Napakaraming problemang kailangan ayusin, mga hamon na kinakailangan ding harapin. So it's too early. Again, total Pasko naman, may ceasefire nga. Sana mag-ceasefire rin tayo, tuloy-tuloy na in the next 4 years. Magbakbakan ulit tayo the last year. Di ba? So, ang hirap talagang magtrabaho pag pumapasok yung political bickerings.
Okay, before Daniel, sir, on the revival of Chacha sa House of Representatives, dito sa Senate, binuhay din ni Senator Robin Padilla. He's pushing for the amendments ng constitutional terms of elected officials. Ano po yung stand ninyo at ano talaga yung sentiments ng majority ng mga senator? Kasi a certain House official has criticized the Senate for its obstructionist stance dito daw sa Chacha.
Well, unang-una, it has to be clear. Ano ba talaga ang purpose? If it's economic provisions, I think the Senate will agree to it. Second, yung isang issue, yung if we are voting as one or as bodies. Kasi kung voting as one, malulunod kami. Sa party list pa lang, outnumbered na kami. Di ba? So, those are the issues that have to be resolved and kinakailangan maging malinaw. And ako personally, I think we just have to be open because The 1987 Constitution is almost 30 years old. The world has really evolved. Wala pang no such thing as a World Wide Web, internet. The world has become much smaller. I agree, yung economic provisions especially. Ako, kung economic provisions lang to make our country more competitive, we have to adapt to the situation. But in terms of political, kung wag yung political kasi, pinakialaman, I don't think people would agree to that. Diba? Naging ano na kasi, past experience, kaya nga po nagkaroon ng term limits because people do not want an abuse of power. No? So, kailangan maliwanagan siguro kung talaga economic provisions, then I will be open to it personally, and yun lang, yung issue between both houses, kinakailangan voting separately, not as one.
Sir, dun sa proposal ni Senator Robin Padilla na i-amend yung constitutional terms ng mga elected official, ang sabi niya, para daw ma-ensure yung balance between leadership, stability, and democratic continuity. So ang gusto niya, yung President at Vice President shall be elected as joint candidates. Pero mukhang hindi naman yun assurance ng pagkakaroon ng stability dahil sabi niyo nga ang Pangulo at ang Vice President ngayon magkasama silang magka-tandem sila, di ba? Pero this early, meron na agad na parang
animosity.
Oo, between them.
Well,
So,
generally
hindi
ganun,
assurance.
mas maganda. Like just like in the US, no, they're being voted as a tandem para magkaroon ng stability. Well, siguro that's what Senator Robin is talking about siguro, no, yung magkaroon ng stability. Ang problema kasi sa atin, I think, if we have to consult the people also as elected officials, given the mandate, tignan din natin kung ano talaga yung gusto nila, no? Sa tingin ko talaga yung very sensitive sa na issue yung political yung term limits. Siguro ayaw na nila ng abuse. That's why there have been term limits. Pero ako honestly, again, for economic provisions on my part, I think I'm very open to it for us to be able to adapt to the current situation. Again, kailangan maging competitive din tayo. Since it's a world, global na ngayon ang labanan no? We have to keep abreast with our neighbors as well, that we will become more attractive this time. If it will help the Philippines become more attractive, then I'm open to the economic provisions.
Okay, Danielle? Okay na? How about Chacha ba yung tatanong mo? Okay.
Sinabi po kasi ni Senator Coco na nagbasa na kayo ng mga laws that could answer the economic issue on so your take on that, kasi sinabi na parang pwede naman din mag-invest na ng malaki yung foreign investment. So, your take on that?
Well, there's still limitations in the Constitution, no? Yung 60-40, yung bawal it's prohibited also to own for foreigners to own land. So these are the things that will be these are issues that we have to look into if we want to be attractive, because in other countries investments are allowed to come in with a bigger share, no, para mas maging more attractive. So one of the reasons probably Vietnam, Indonesia, and Malaysia have an advantage over us. Pero yung po sa pag-own ng land, then yun pag-uusapan pa and pagdidibatihan pa, because a lot of people are not for it, and some think that it will be essential or important for the Philippines to be attractive. So I think these are the main issues that we have to consider for economic amendments on the Constitution.
As of this time, will you support yung bigger ownership ng foreigner? Kasi 60-40 ngayon, di ba?
Opo, because I was also a businessman once in my life, and if I would want to invest in a country or an entity, of course I would want to have control, no? Kung pwedeng 60, basta merong majority control, well, that's speaking as a businessman, no? It's natural that they would want control over their business. And I think that is allowed in other countries. That's why a lot of big corporations, multinational corporations are investing in their countries. So that we have to debate on. Dapat pag-aralan, hindi naman tayo kaagad mag-ano ng position, but we have to study other countries on their investment on who and what they allow.
Kasi sir, ang apprehension baka mamaya puro foreigner na yung may-ari ng lupa dito sa
Inaagaw na nga nila eh. Kaya nga, that's what we have to look into. Kaya nga, we have to debate on that. Ang sabi naman ng iba, hindi naman nila mailalabas yan, no? Pero we have that we have to debate on. Pero yung allowing entry of foreign entities, multinationals to do business with a bigger share, that we have to study as well to make us more competitive. Kasi kung titingnan natin, why are they looking at other countries, no? Yung mga umaalis ng China, pumupunta ng Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. To think that we are the most fluent English-speaking country. We have a great labor force. Why are they looking at other countries? Well, we have a lot of problems. Nabanggit ko na yung infra. Transport natin is very poor. Electricity is very high. So these are two things that I'm hoping that the administration would really prioritize for us to be able to be attractive again. Kaya nga these are big items, no? Malalaking problema to. Electricity, power generation, infra, transport modernization. Kaya nga sana wala munang political bickerings. Ayusin muna natin itong mga ito.
Sir, speaking of political bickerings, di ba dati okay naman si PBBM at saka si PP? Do you think yung mga sulsul sa paligid nila, yung probably may problem?
I would think so. It's the people around that is causing the tension and causing disunity this early in this government, no? For which I'm appealing na it will be the Philippines will be in a better and a powerful position in terms of investment if our two top leaders are united. Malaking bagay po sana yon. Right now, that yung mga trips namin sa EU, we're trying to improve the relationship again. They are very positive about the Philippines, no? Based on our parliamentary visits. Kaya nga po nagka-campaign kami for us to become attractive. But if there's political instability, all of these things will go for naught. Masasayang po lahat yon. That's why nanghihinayan po ako talaga. Sana magkaayos muna. Let us work in the next 4.5 years first and try to fix the problems and the challenges that are on the way. Dapat pagtulong-tulungan muna natin.
Okay, Sheme, follow up, ha?
Sir, if not, kasi di ba naging congressman din kayo, so kita niyo yung hirap na every 3 years talagang walang halos pahinga, campaign, election campaign. And can you see the wisdom behind the Padilla resolution? And also, kung kayo mag-entertain ng political provision na amendments, tama ba yung recollection namin? Ang mas gusto nyo, ayusin lang yung political dynasty provision.
Yes, actually ako po yung one of the authors of the SK Reform Law. We introduced the anti-political dynasty provision as parang test case doon sa SK Reform Law, no? And at least SK Reform Law has been there. May nagkaroon ng challenges, but at least we based on that law na implement yung anti-political dynasty provision. Ako admittedly I benefited. I came from a political family dynasty, but I'm still in a belief that with 110 or so Filipinos, there are a lot of people there who are capable, who are willing to serve, no? Kaya lang wala silang pangalan, wala silang means to get elected, walang makinarya. So we have to give chance to others. So ako talagang I still maintain that position. Sabi ko nga, ironic, I come from a political family, dynasty, sabi na natin, but I am also for giving chance to others who are willing to serve this nation. Wala namang may monopoly ng pagsisilbi sa ating bansa. So that's my position.
So, sir, yung how about yung
Ako personally ay kasi ang medyo sensitive kasi yung diyan taong bayan, so we have to consult the people also being given the mandate. But I personally think yung meron din namang sense yung sinasabi ni Sen. Robby na dapat habaan kasi kung for example, nag-mayor din ako, no? Lalo na mga local officials, especially if you're new, I think 3 years is really too short. Yung first year, naninibago ka pa lang kung bago ka, adjustment period, nag-aaral ka pa. Second year, productive ka na. Third year, kampanya na. So, in effect, parang 1 year lang yung productive mo eh. So, yun naman yung drawback of having a 3-year term limit for local officials. But then again, because probably of the past experiences, people are aware and allergic already or traumatized doon sa mga abuse before nung having unlimited terms in office. That's why this was included in the 1987 Constitution. But then again, we have to, just in case it happens, you have to consult the people kung if this is acceptable to them, magkakaroon naman yun ng mga consultations di ba? And I think that's our duty also, given the mandate. We have to know what the sentiments of our constituents are.
Okay, no more. Last question na. Sir, traditionally, hinihingi ng mga politicians yung endorsement ng mga religious leader. So what can you say dun sa gagawing investigation dito sa Senate sa mga issue against Pastor Kibuloy of Kingdom of Jesus Christ? Do you support that inquiry?
Well, kasi umami naman yata si Eric and I think he even apologized. Pero call na po ng HOR yan. But I think he apologized that yung kanyang source was not really, nagkamali siya sa kanyang pahayag. Ang sa akin lang personally, kaya lang, diskarte po ng House yun. We have courtesy, but, past experience sa ABS-CBN, although we were not one of the favorites, but ako, I still support freedom of expression and anything the more media networks there are, especially capable, that will that will help our country. Sa totoo lang, nawala din yung ABS. Di kami paborito, pero yung nawala yung mga regional stations, malaking bagay, especially in times of disaster, medyo malaking kawalan yon. So, probably discipline, probably those who erred, pero siguro dapat call po nila, courtesy, parliamentary courtesy, but I think yung we do not, ako personally, I do not want another franchise to be recalled or I cancel. Mawawala naman tayo kasi I still believe in the freedom of expression.
Pero dito sa Senate, sir, iba yung issue about sexual abuse, human trafficking against Pastor Kibuloy.
Well, I think that's already filed in the courts, in the United States and here. So, let the justice take its course. Pero, kung wala sana, but ako yun lang,
Paubaya sa korte.
Paubaya na natin sa korte siguro. Again, I would still be on the side of supporting freedom of expression. Yun lang, that's my personal position.
Okay. Sige.
Well, I read about it just this morning. It's a very bold move, I think, by Vatican. So, again, ako pa rin, doon pa rin sa same sex, we have to respect their decision to be together, yung kanilang lang doon, yung kanilang yung mga property rights, yung mga issues na that have to be resolved. I respect their decision, but yun lang, yung when it comes to yung full marriage, that has to be thought of, no? Kaya siguro yung pagbigay ni Pope Benedict is Pope Francis pala, Pope Francis. Hindi pa pwede yung full marriage, no? But already allowing or respecting or at least recognizing yung decision to be together. So it has to be studied. Siguro Vatican is also taking it slow. Siguro one step at a time. Siguro yung iba kasi sinabi, sa Biblia kasi Adam and Eve talaga di ba? So but we respect the position of couples, even same sex to be together. But yung when it comes to full marriage, siguro that would one step at a time we need to study further. Well, I would think that the Pope Francis would be in a better position kasi sila po yung try to absorb it first. No? But, again, it's in line with my personal position that we just have to respect their decisions as a couple.
Okay, talagang last question na from Marlon.
Sir, nabagit niya lang kanina about this tab. Sabi niyo may kumakausap na sa mga retired military officers. Itong kumakausap na to, sir, they being paid also by China or contract, ano ba itong mga, or itong kasama din sa grupo ng mga influencer yung nag-i-instigate?
Well, probably. Siguro kasama, magkakakilala sila Probably magkarami sa kanila, magkakasama noon. So, kaya nga, I'm appealing to them, no, na tigilan na natin yung adventurism and these type efforts. Wag na natin isipin sarili natin kasi kung mahal natin bayan natin, we will not allow this Again, the long-term effect will be very hard to reverse pag nagkaroon ng ganyan mga moves, no? Napakahirap niyan. There will be legitimacy question on the government. Mahirap mag-invest kasi nga may question sa legitimacy. It will cause political instability and economic instability. So, inaapil ako talaga. That's why I will not support at all any distab efforts, not because of the president, but I think it's for the country. Yung long-term effects will not be very good for our country.
So may pahabol si Cecil. Ano daw yung target ninyo na aprobahang mga bills next year?
Well, ang isa sa mga talagang the very first bill that I filed is the Comprehensive Master Plan for Infrastructure Development. You know that I've been very consistent on my infra advocacy that I think one of the reasons why we were left behind by our ASEAN neighbors dahil po sa ating pong political system, no, yung 6 years and 3 years, most of our leaders were only concerned in the short and medium term program. So yung long term nakalimutan. And most of the infrastructure projects, lalo na yung mga transport modernization, big ticket items, lahat po ito long term. We need 20, 30, even 50 years of study, planning, research, and execution. So kailangan, kaya po pinasa ko ito, I'm trying to have this bill passed that whoever sits as president, they may have their own programs, pet programs, but infrastructure development that includes transport modernization, energy, water resource management, no? Would continue, dapat continuous. Kahit sinong umupong presidente, at least yung mga basic infrastructure, there will be a master plan already. So I'm hoping that this will be passed along with the at least napasa na po natin, no? I sponsor the PPP code. This will be complementary and supplementary in that target because this will really stimulate economic growth. Yun na talaga ang tingin ko na will really provide jobs and opportunities once we modernize and have the necessary infrastructure in place.
Okay, on that note, but before we end, may magbi-birthday sa January 26. December 26. So, dahil wala tayo dito, ngayon pa lang, kakantahan na natin siya. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
May cake pa.
Happy birthday to you. Ay,
Nawala
nawala.
na. Thank you.
Oh, yung ibang version. Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Oy, yung version ninyo.
Thank you sa inyo.
Sex bomb. Halika, solo. Go, Hana. Hana, come on. Birthday na. Sige, yan. Dali. Yay!
Ba, meron pang dance
Ibang version. Come on. A more. Marlon.
Thank you.
Marlon. Dali na. Okay. Dali na. Game. Dali na. 1, 2. Nadyan lang, ho. Ang haba.
Thank you.
Yay!
At least marami tayong issue na covered.
Sir, ano daw birthday wish mo? Your secret.
Wish ko magka-eyesight sa buhay natin next year, generally. Kayo
Mas naiintriga siya sa personal, wish mo sa personal
Hindi
na
yun.
buhay.
Personal nga, iyakin na lang.
Ay, picture na tayo lahat. Dali.